Welcome, spiritual seekers, back to Mentorship Mondays with Michelle and Maren. We are here again to speak to you from the Magic Mama perspective, where we have one foot in the spirit world. We have one foot in the grocery aisle. And today I do have matching socks. Actually, no, I don't. I have slippers on. But, hi, Maren. We're here for part two.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why do they always disappear? That's what I want to know.
You know what Rob used to always say? He used to go, it's Oprah's fault. It's Oprah. She takes the sock. I don't know why he ever started saying that, but he was like, he goes, I swear to God, he says Oprah has something to do with it, because that is the truth. Okay, one thing I'll tell you about me is I don't wear unmatching socks. My kids have the ones that I stopped dressing. When they dress on their own, they'd be fine with wearing unmatching socks. Even with Marcus, because I pair his socks for him, I have matching socks. But I can't wear unmatching socks. Like, I just can't.
No, I can't.
No, but they go missing.
An L and an R. Like if you do athletic socks, they'll have an L and an R. And now I can't do two L's together or two R's together.
No.
Even worse, because I might have like two L's, but I can't wear two L's. So they're sitting in my drawer waiting for the two R's.
There's two things I've been really big about my entire life. And they are that I have matching socks. Not that I always did it perfectly, but that they match. At least they're in the same fabric and color. And if they have the same design, you know, that's a big bonus. But number two is I've always loved white trainers, white runners, whatever. And I don't like to wear them when they don't look white. Like, I love my white runners. I just do. I bought a pair of white Nikes last year, and those are my, like, go-to for nice weather. And luckily they're washable, so I can throw them in the wash with a little oxy powder.
Have you ever tried, we use the magic eraser.
Oh, Maren.
Those are like
Maren. Magic eraser has been, I now use the Scrub Daddy magic eraser style. Have you seen that from Costco?
I know what Scrub Daddy is, but I don't know if I've had the Scrub Daddy magic eraser.
They sell them. I didn't know until I saw them at Costco, and they're great big giant boxes of them. And that stuff magic eraser has been my best friend since my children have been little. And I'm sure there might be some things about it that maybe people might say, don't use that. But listen, when it comes to sticky, dirty fingerprints, and a boy that eats spaghetti and walks like this across the wall in my house, magic eraser is my best friend.
I don't like to deep clean. Like, that is not my thing. I'll pick up, but I don't like to deep clean. But if you give me a magic eraser, I will be there for hours. Yes. Like, just the baseboards and
then it keeps carrying to different places. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Yes. There's some more here. Wait a minute. And then before you know it, I know. So we're here for part two. So we left a little dangling carrot last week, and it's the holiday weekend for all of our friends in the U.S. It is the holiday weekend, the kickoff to summer, right? Long awaited, has been waited for.
Also, it is my birthday. Yeah. It's hard for me to even say the number, but I'm just going to say it really fast.
Say it, because I'm going to say mine, and I'm going to say why. So just say it. Get it out. It's good.
I really truly can't. I cannot get it. I'm like trying so hard. Oh, okay, hold on. Okay. I am 40 years old.
Yay! Maren.
I made it.
Maren.
40.
Maren, 40 is the new 20. 40 is the new 20. And I say to
Breathe it
myself
in.
every year, whatever year I turn is the new whatever year I was. So
No,
this is
this one
actually,
hit hard.
yeah,
This
well,
one hit hard because let
it,
me tell you.
yeah.
So, like, I have a gray in my eyebrow. Okay, that was never there. I have grays in my little like root part. I have, I'm like, why are they like wiry? Like, why can't they lay
They're
like
without
the other?
pigment. They don't have pigment. I
And that
know,
makes them like this?
I
Like,
guess.
why? And then the other day they do that. Why would they do that?
I know, I know.
I started plucking them and I went to my hairstylist the other day and she goes, "Oh, don't do that." And I was like, "Why?" And she goes, "Because they're all going to turn gray at one point and then you won't have any hair." And I was like, "Don't do this."
Maren
And
goes for her next haircut. And
the fuck of a bald part. Yeah. She's like, "Your part is getting whiter." Wow. Yes. Um, and then this is the saddest thing. I have this workout shirt that's like a stripe
yeah,
shirt.
yeah,
And like, you know, you see yourself in the mirror and you get like used to the way you look, right? Well, like my boobs fit like right in between like the, or maybe like high on the top stripe, between the top and the middle stripe is like where they hit on this shirt, right?
yeah.
The other day I was looking in the mirror and I was like, why does this shirt look funny? What's different about this shirt? And then I was like, oh my God, they're at the bottom stripe. Why? Why does it all happen at 40? I
Okay,
am not okay with this.
all right. I'm gonna tell you some stuff. Okay, as you're wider, as you're wider. That was a little misslip. As you're wider, older, friend, sister.
Wiser?
Okay, let's just change. Back that one up. As you're wiser. Not that I'm wiser, but listen. I know exactly how you feel, but I'm going to tell you something. So, I always thought after having kids I was going to have a boob job. Okay, let's just get real and personal right now. Okay, since we're on that subject.
Okay.
We said to my husband, I'm like, after breastfeeding 3 kids and everything, I think that I would like to do that. I think I would, and not necessarily because I want augmentation. I just don't want them to hang. Like that. I just, that was important to me. Well, we know how manifestation works. We
Oh
know
my
how.
gosh. I know where this story is going.
Do we know where this is going?
I know where this is
Biggest,
going.
biggest joke in my surgeon, every doctor's office, my oncologist. I was like, well, this isn't how I necessarily planned it on happening. I didn't think that I would have a breast lift and breast surgery and augmentation in this way. But let's just call it a bonus when a bonus is present. Okay?
Right? Yeah.
Because when I had my surgery, they were like, and because I had what they call a depth flap reconstruction. So what it actually is so the cancer was on my left hand side, right? My left breast. And it was a 7x7 tumor. So you can imagine that was pretty big, and it shrunk down
Okay.
to a 2x3.
With
But
chemo,
yes,
radiation,
yes,
something. Okay.
with chemo. So I had my surgery before I had radiation. And with the surgery, so they, the size of the tumor is 2x3, and then they want to get 2 centimeter margins, right? So they still have to take quite a bit out. And the options were, you could get breast expanders. They gave me the option, do you want to remove the 2 of them? But my certain type of cancer was hormonal. It wasn't the BRCA gene. It wasn't the same. So they did offer it to me if I wanted to do that. And I said no, because they didn't think it was necessary, and neither did I. But what I said was this. I said, well, I wasn't really interested. I maybe would have been at one time, but I didn't want to put in an implant. And the implants in that they have now, 10 years ago, there's a lot of research on them. They were good. They last for a long time, but I just didn't want to really even think about it or worry about it. And I discovered that they had an option where, this is where it gets better, where they will take fat from your stomach, okay, and they will transplant it. So they remove the breast, they transplant the tissue, the fat tissue, in the breast, and they sew it back up, and they build you a breast with your own tissue.
What?
Yes. You can look it up, everybody. It's called a Dieppe flap reconstruction. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard of that. That is amazing.
Yes.
And so like technically you got like liposuction and a breast lift. You got like a whole mommy making.
So because not only did I say after children I wanted to have something done in the breast area, but I said, why not have something done in the stomach area too? I got both. So my surgeon laughed because when I was right before, it was a 12-hour surgery. It was like because they had a team for the removal of the breast. So that was a separate team. A team for the removal of the breast, a team for the removal of the stomach tissue, and a team for the breast building. Plus I had because they were trying to get things to match. So they did a breast lift on the other side at the same time so that it wouldn't be like lopsided and strange.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, perfect timing. Like, I've had all my kids and great. I was like, I was being built brand new in more ways than I could have imagined at that time. Right? So So, and that's how the perspective that I chose to walk with was, I am getting all these surgeries. It's covered under our healthcare. It's covered. We're not paying out of pocket for it. Yes, it's, comes along with some other things that I didn't really want to go through, but didn't they end up helping me through a big transformation? And that's the perspective that I was walking with, among other things at the time. But anyway, it was very interesting because afterwards it was just like a transplant of anything else. Like, they had a little Doppler attached to me. And so they had to keep checking for the health of it to make sure that it would take, that the tissue would take, that everything would take. And I said to my surgeon before we went in, because like I had had little surgeries, like only once had I gone under at that point, and that was for my gallbladder. But I had had little surgeries, and I remember before the surgery, and he was marking me up with black marker and everything, and he was like, okay, this is what we're going to do, and making sure I sign for it. And he said, would you like to donate any of the tissue to this team, whatever, so that they can test it for studying? And I said, oh, well, is there something extra that I can sign on there to say that I'll donate any additional extra fat? I'll donate any additional that you can take, and you can like study that all you want. And I said, and in fact, I can't even remember my surgeon's name right this moment, but in fact, I'll tell you what, even one better. I give you permission to, because I've done a lot of research on this surgery. I said, I give you permission to maybe give a little extra tuck as you close things up, like just a little. I said, I've been through a lot. That would really help. It would really help. It would really help the healing process. I'll honestly tell you, because he laughed and he said, well, it's not really a tummy tuck. And I said, but I heard it can be pretty close. And he did a really good job. He did a really good job. Yeah.
A little extra stitch this way and an extra stitch that way.
But here's the funny part. He did build the left breast a little bit bigger because I was going into radiation. And he said, sometimes, and more than not, you get into radiation and it shrinks. So we're going to build it a little bit bigger so that when you go through radiation, they even out. And I'm like, okay, great. It never shrunk.
Oh, no. But I feel like most people have one side that's bigger than the other. So it just makes it more natural.
Yeah, exactly. So, when I announce that I am built from the inside out in more ways than one than you guys can all possibly imagine, I am. I am.
Yeah.
So,
You
I
needed
mean,
that new body to get into your new vibration and timeline,
yes,
right? Like,
yes,
yeah.
yes. So, I
Oh my
mean,
God.
40, Maren, it's 40 is a wonderful age. And yes, it can be hard for us to connect to, you know, how did this happen? Because like I don't feel my age. I don't at all. I never really have. But I'm going to be
I've
50. I'm going to be
That's
50.
this year. So we're both
Yeah,
hitting milestone birthdays this year.
we are. And do you want to know something else that's really interesting that I had thought about?
Wait, so you're born on a 5?
I was born,
Like
no, I was born
like
on a
I'm
4.
85.
Oh, I was born in 75.
Yeah, 75.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
75. Yeah.
75. My birthday is 10/4.
Okay. And
Like
4. Oh
10/4,
my God, that's
10/4,
amazing.
good buddy. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a life path 9. Right now, I'm in year 49, in the year 9 of transformation. And Maren, you're turning 40, I'm turning 50, which is a 9
Wow.
in
This
numerology.
is
It's a big year. It's a
okay,
big
so that
year.
means really good things for us. Like
It does.
our
It
combined
does.
energy is aligned and
Hmm.
on point and going places.
So I'm going to say something because I know it's not going to be a real long recording today. And I told my boob story maybe a little longer than what we had. But so I'm going to say this. In honor of your birthday, Maren, we're going to talk
Okay.
a little bit about alignment and resonance. I'm going to read it because I want the point to get out there for everybody and for you to hear this
Okay.
rather
Okay.
than me having long, drawn out conversations about it. So, when you are in alignment, when you are in resonance with yourself, okay, and this doesn't mean because I'm spiritual, because being spiritual doesn't necessarily mean you're in alignment. You might be following something spiritual, but alignment means you are in alignment with who you are. Finding out who you are is walking the inner path of discovery and trusting what is you through feeling. Okay. So I'm going to read a few things because being in alignment is also age reversal. It is also slowing down the aging process. There are many benefits to being in alignment. Not only what we've talked about with how great it feels, how much easier it is to navigate difficult situations, and it's healing and everything else. But I put my glasses on, I'm going to read this. So, first of all, I'm just going to explain what is alignment, what is resonance. Alignment is when your thoughts, feelings, and energy and actions are congruent with who you actually are and your blueprint. Resonance is what happens when your internal frequency, so who you really are, matches the reality that you are meant to live. So when your insides begin to match the outsides, which is what we are all doing. When we talk about my world starts to reflect the way I am inside, it can take a while for that to catch up. But this is what this process is. This is really what the awakening process is. It's not following somebody else's plan. It's understanding your blueprint. Okay, so science terms. Resonance is vibrational harmony. Alignment is coherence across the systems: brain, heart, nervous system, energy field. So I will just remind everybody what we're talking about is not woo. It is not spiritually floating here. And some of these topics can, be that way to a lot of people, but this is for everybody. It doesn't matter what you are following whether you are following a religion or anything. It doesn't matter what you follow. Are you in alignment with yourself? And this is a lot of what we've talked about with the brain heart coherence with everything, because that is the key. So what happens in the brain and the body in alignment? Your brain waves stabilize. You shift out of survival-based beta into alpha and theta states. Your vagus nerve activates calm, clarity, digestion, and emotional regulation. Your cells communicate better. Mitochondria function improves your body conserves energy instead of leaking it through stress, which is what we talked about when we were talking about the shutters in the last episode and everything. Telomere degradation states, sorry, okay, let me say this again. Telomere degradation slows. Okay, I'm glad I can get that in my mouth. So these are end caps on your DNA strands that shorten with stress and age. In alignment, they preserve. Okay?
Okay.
So you literally become biologically younger. And then I'm going to tell you, Maren, I actually, it's for everybody because I did kind of already tell you. I heard in my head from Spirit, and we were supposed to do something else. We were going to record something else today. And what I heard was, you are not, your chronological age is not your truth, before I even knew what we were going to talk about today. And I was like, okay. And I understood that to a degree, but didn't understand what was going to unfold for us to have this conversation. So why and how does this slow aging? Aging just isn't physical, it's informational decay. When your energy is scattered by chronic stress, self-betrayal, emotional suppression, your system leaks information, coherence, and power. This leads to physical symptoms like inflammation, fatigue, dull skin, foggy mind, and poor recovery. In resonance, your system becomes efficient. Cells are not fighting confusion. DNA receives clearer signals. Hormones rebalance. Your face glows literally from microcirculation and nitric oxide in flow with coherence. In simple terms, when you are aligned with your soul, your body stops defending and starts repairing. And that is the fountain of youth. So how far can this go, everybody? How far can this go? How far can we take this? And here's the truth. Nobody knows the upper limit. Nobody does. Meaning that we are in the generation, we are at the time where this is pioneering past places that we as a collective have never explored. And so there are people in the world that are beyond in age. We've all seen them. We've seen them maybe on the internet. We've heard stories about a person here and there that might be 102 and they look like they're 80. Okay, we've heard it. So it is possible, but how far can it go? Beyond what we have ever experienced. Okay, there's no known limit. People who live in resonance, monks, healers, certain indigenous elders can show biological markers 20 to 30 years younger than their chronological age. Heal from conditions they were told were irreversible. And we know that happens. Experience cellular regeneration, not just slowing of decay. Radiate youthfulness, even into advanced age, not as denial of aging, but as embodiment of agelessness. And that is the declaration we're making right now, because I'm going to tell you, 50 looks darn good on me, 40 looks darn good on you, and this is my journey. Not because I'm not proud of aging, not because I'm not proud of my age and proud of living and life, but because why not? I have the opportunity out of alignment, we all do, out of alignment, out of our body, to live stronger, happier, healthier, just in being who we are and not walking under shame, guilt. I have to do this. I have to add this to my body and do this, but to do it as naturally as possible through where we are drawn, through our alignment, not through what everyone else in society tells us we have to eat and do and be. So this is, this is also one point I have to read here. It's not immortality, it's timeless presence. And I'm just going to end this last little bit by telling people how you can activate this in real time. what you can do right now in this moment to bring this into your reality as we're talking to it right now. So, as your birthday gift, Maren, this is for you.
Okay.
Micro moments of alignment. Take 3 heart-centered breaths throughout the day.
Okay.
Say to yourself, I call all parts of me back into coherence. Speak truth when your throat wants to close. That is youth maintenance. Move with rhythm, walking, stretching, dancing, while listening to your own breath, the music, a podcast, something that you love. Choose resonant environments more often than not. Light music, ambiance, voices, fabrics. Does this nourish me or deplete me? So these are all choices that we have all day long. So how am I surrounding myself? How am I placing, what environments, what lighting do I enjoy? All of those things. Inner language shift. Now this is really important because language is not the answer, but it's a tuning fork. So your language it's leading, it's drawing. So instead of saying I'm getting old, say I'm deepening, which I like.
Deep.
I'm deepening. I'm turning 50 and I'm deepening into my 29. I'm deepening into looking 29 and feeling 29. Thank you very much. I can't anymore. Choose to say, I choose what's true now. So instead of saying, I can't do this anymore, I can't climb these stairs anymore, I'm too old. I can't ride this bike, my knees hurt too much. Just say, I choose to do what's true now for me. Maybe what's true right now means that climbing those stairs is not comfortable for you. And what's true means taking the elevator. Okay, I choose to do what's true now. Change the language. And signs that you're entering resonance, everybody, you feel calm without trying. Maren, you gave excellent explanation of that and talking about your shutters. Calm and resonant, and it just flowed out without even trying. That's what resonance is. Your face softens even if you didn't get the full amount of sleep, right? Time feels like it stretches. You're in more of a flow state rather than in a like rushing to get from one place to another. People say, you look different. You look lighter. Oh, you look brighter. Did you do something different with your hair? Maybe you didn't, but you just look different. Your eyes shine differently. You cry, not from sadness, but from recognition. You cry because it's like you're not crying from I can't take this anymore. You're crying from this is sweet. This is wonderful. This touches me. And then last but not least, resonance is the more you align with who you really are, the more your body will thank you for years and years to come. Because we are not rewiring time as far as saying that we're here forever, physically. But we are rewriting our story and how we experience it. And that, Maren, is what you and I do each and every week that we come here. We're rewriting our story personally, together, and to help inspire every single person that listens. Because what we know is true is that it's not about hierarchy. It's not about one person knowing more than another or leading. It's about understanding when you're drawn to someone, when you're drawn to a group, when you're watching because something's being mirrored back to you, something resonant, because it is within each and every one of you. Because this is you and you are writing your life. You are all writing your life. So you get to decide how that's going to be. And so it's choosing how that looks today and knowing that that changes and adjusts because of what you choose to believe in this moment. And that's powerful. It's very powerful. Or else I wouldn't be Michelle standing here saying it. But happy
Thank you,
birthday,
Michelle.
Maren.
Well, thanks, Michelle. Like, you definitely make me feel good. And it's not that I don't want to be 40 or like think bad. It's just hard to believe that I
Yeah.
am for sure.
Yeah.
And
It's a milestone.
but it's a milestone. But having those little trinkets of advice of how to be youthful and live in resonance is
Yeah.
really a great reminder of
Yeah.
what I need to be doing every day. And some of what I already am, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, another episode. Happy holiday weekend to all our friends through the US and of course all our friends around the world. We hope you had a wonderful weekend. You're having a great start to your week. And from Maren and I, stay healthy, stay well, stay in alignment, reach for
Mhm.
resonance, not perfection. And we'll see
Aw.
you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Have
Bye,
a great
everybody.
week.